Okay, so I'll just wait till the recording is getting started and then we will start with this today's class. So are you ready with the pen, pencil, some calculator? Okay, meanwhile we are going to solve some numericals as well. Okay, good morning students. So this is the first session for theory of machines under the scheme of AICTE sponsored Prerna Center for SC/ST students at Vidya Pratishthan's Kamal Nayan Bajaj Institute of Engineering and Technology. And we are going to see the first session on fundamentals of mechanism. So we will start it with some basics and then we will solve some examples. Okay. So this is the syllabus for GATE 2021 for theory of machines. So just we will have an overview of the syllabus first. So it is displacement, velocity and acceleration analysis of plane mechanism, then dynamic analysis of linkages, then cams, then gears and gear trains, then flywheels and governors, balancing of reciprocating and rotating masses, and gyroscope. So these are the topics which comes under theory of machines. So out of these topics, just you can see here uh, displacement, velocity and acceleration analysis. This first point, displacement, velocity and acceleration of mechanism. That is the fundamentals of mechanism. So which we have completed in theory of machines 1. Okay. Then dynamic analysis of linkages. That means you have to find degree of freedom, number of links, number of binary links, joins and all. Okay. Then CAMS is there in theory of machines 2. So that you not have completed. TE students. So here are the TE students mostly attending the class. So this unit of CAM we have to do in theory of machines 2. Then gears and gear trains. So see now right now in the class we are taking a gears topics. So I told you already that gear and gear trains, that is unit number 1, 2 and 3. So there is a big weightage in the GATE syllabus as well. So in this gears in class, in regular class we have done spur gears and helical gears. So that comes under the gears. And then after that helical gear, spiral and bevel gear and worm wheel is remaining. That comes under this gear topic. And gear train. So gear train is a separate unit. Gear train is a separate unit. Okay. So that also we have to complete. So that is a major part of GATE syllabus. So when we will cover it in class, it will get completed as a part of GATE topic. Then flywheels and governors, it was already in earlier syllabus, it was in theory of machines, but now it has been excluded from the syllabus of university. So this we need to study it apart from our syllabus. So this is the topic mainly flywheels and governors, which is not included in theory of machines 1 and theory of machines 2 as well. Okay, so this point you need to take care of this topic. And then balancing of reciprocating and rotating masses. So this topic is we have completed in theory of machine 1, that is static and dynamic force analysis or static and dynamic analysis of Slider mechanism, two mass dynamically equivalent system. To find out the using the D'Alembert's principle, you have to find out the force, inertia force, then various forces acting on crank, slider, connecting rod, converting two mass dynamically equivalent system into statically and dynamically equivalent system, correction couple. So that is this balancing of reciprocating and rotating masses, which we have completed in theory of machines 1. Okay, and gyroscope. So for gyroscope, it is in theory of machines 2 syllabus, last unit, unit number 6, that is gyroscope. So see, if you study it properly for the theory of machines 2, these 2 points will get covered, gear and gear trains and gyroscope. So this is the major part. Actually, there will be 100% one question on gear and gear train. So make this point very clear to you. Okay, there will be question on gear and gear train compulsorily, and there will be one question on gyroscope as well, 1 or 2 mark question. So see, total weightage for this theory of machines in the syllabus is approximately 8 to 10 marks. So you can get 8 to 10 marks with this topic. Out of these topics, most of the topics you have completed in second year. Means the third year students can get at least 6 to 7 marks out of these, because you know displacement velocity acceleration analysis, you know dynamic analysis of linkages. Then by the time exam will get over, your theory of machines to syllabus will be completed. So you know cams, you know gear and gear trains, you know balancing of reciprocating and rotating masses, and you know gyroscope. So means this subject will be helpful for you to get the marks in this attempt. So those students of T who are going to appear for the exam, please make sure that you will study this subject very carefully, so that you can get 8 to 9 marks at least. So 8 to 9 marks is a big deal in order to get the great score. Okay, and whatever you are studying in the class, so again and again I'm telling you, study it conceptually. Okay, so this is just overview of the syllabus. So today we will have the revision of the topics which we have completed in theory of machines 1. Okay, I will not go for cams and gear trains right now, because yet it is not completed in our syllabus. But we will have a revision of all the topics which we have covered in second year syllabus. Is this fine? What do you suggest? Just reply me. What do you suggest? We will go for the first. We will go for the revision, and we will make these topics clear. And then we will go for these gear trains and cams. By that time in the class also we will start with these topics. So it will be simultaneously, we will complete the GATE syllabus also in the class, and whatever your university syllabus also in the class. Yes, is this fine? Just give some reply. Okay, good, Chaitanya. So we will continue with the machine and mechanism. So this is a very basic part, so which we have seen in last semester. So what is a machine? So we'll just revise this all the things. What is a machine? So machine is the assemblage or linkage or mechanisms which are used to transmit the required motion as well as the force. So see, why we are going to look for the theory part, because in GATE exam you can have the theory, means 1 mark question as well, means not the numerical, theory question of multiple choices. So in that case you need to have the basic of these concepts very clear. So that's why we have to go for the basics right from the beginning. So very fast we will revise, and we will solve some examples of related to the degree of freedom, links, and all that. So machine will transmit the required motion as well as the forces both. A machine transmit not only motion, but it also transmit the energy, right? So these are the examples of machine, that is IC engine, lathe, clocks, turbines. So these are all the examples of machine. Then a mechanism. Mechanism is the assemblage of linkage which are used to transmit the required motion. So 2 or more mechanisms comes together, it will give you a machine. Okay, so number of mechanism comes, you make a linkage of that, you make an assembly of that, it will give you machine which will transmit motion as well as energy. So mechanism transmit only motion, but machine transfer motion as well as energy. So it transmits and modifies motion or forces only. For example, 4-bar mechanism, slider crank mechanism. So there are number of mechanisms which we have studied. Okay, the inversions of mechanism we have studied. So see, one thing is important. While studying these machines and mechanism, what do you have to do? Make a chart of inversions of mechanism and its application. So this question will be asked for 2 marks or 1 mark. That a particular inversion is used in which application? Like what are the different inversions of 4-bar mechanisms? First inversion, second inversion, third inversion, fourth inversion, hand pump. Okay. Then what are the different inversions of sliding crank mechanism? Then different inversions of double sliding crank mechanism and its application. So make a chart. So see, you should start preparing your notes. Okay, regarding for the GATE examination. So what should be the content of that notes? So for machines and mechanism, list out the mechanisms which are of use for various applications. Okay, and they can ask you that following mechanism for, is the first inversion of ladder crank mechanism used for this application. Likewise, so make a chart of that. That will be very useful. Okay, then we'll see for link. Now, what is a link? So, link is a group of resistant bodies. So, what is the resistant body? So, which we have seen already that resistant body means it will not have deformation under the certain conditions. Means it will deform, but as far as the that application is concerned, it will not give any deformation, or if deformation is required for the application. Like for example, spring. So spring is not a rigid body. It have a deflection. Okay. But what is the function of the spring? So spring should get compressed so as to absorb the load. So where we use the spring? So to absorb the vibration, to absorb the load, we use the spring. Right? So spring will be called it as a resistant body because it will act as a rigid body for its particular application in shock absorber. So that is called as a link. So link will not have any relative motion between its particles. So what are the types of links? So we have binary link, ternary link and quaternary link. So what is a binary link? So binary link is a link which is connected to the two other links. Okay, ternary link is the link connected to the other three links. Means you can connect three links at three different locations for the ternary link. Quaternary link is the link with which you can connect with the four other locations. That is called as a quaternary link. Okay, so we will take so is this clear? The types of the links, which link should be called binary, which link should be called ternary, and which should be called quaternary. So already we have done with this. So that's why I'm not wasting much of the time to explain this. Do you remember all these parts which we have explained which we have seen in theory of machines 1? So this is just a revision. Okay. So we will take is it fine? Can we go further? Yes. So few of the BE students are also there. So it will be Prachi. So it will be, it is required for you all. Those BE students are attending the class because it's a lot of gap. You have studied all this. So this is required for you all. Now see, we'll take one example that you have to identify binary, ternary and quaternary links in the following mechanism. So now you just look at this mechanism and tell me which are the binary links. So we'll go one by one. So see, remember one thing. By giving the numbers to the mechanism, link number 1 should be given to the fixed link always. Okay, so fixed link will be link number 1. Now see, for link number 2, so which is this link number 2? This is a binary, ternary or quaternary? Yes. So you can see link number 2. For link number 2, there are 4 points with which it can get connected to the other links. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's why this is a quaternary link. Okay. So see, what is the difference if it is not hatched? The portion is not hatched over here, like this, link here. So can you see the difference between these two? So here, when this portion is hatched, means these edges of the link will not have any relative motion with respect to each other. They will not move. But if you consider over here, see this link and this link, they are moving with respect to each other. So whenever there is a quaternary or ternary link, this portion must be hatched. Only in that case you can consider this as a quaternary link. Okay, so link number 2 is a quaternary link. Then link number 3, so this is a ternary link. Okay, link number 4, again this is a quaternary link. Then link number 5, it is a ternary link. Link number 6, now what is link number 6? What will be the link number 6? Yes, it's a binary, exactly. So link number 6 is a binary link. So see, this fixed connection, link number 1. Link number 1 is a fixed connection. So sometimes, if this link and if there is no any relative motion between these two, in that case, you will not give separate link numbers. So remember this thing. Because that is the concept of binary and singular link. So singular link will have only one connection which can be connected to the other link. So this link number 1 is a singular link because it is already fixed and only one link can be connected. So link number 1 is a singular link and link number 6 is a binary link. So link number 7 is also binary link. Link number 8 is also binary. 9 is binary. 10 is binary and 11 is binary. Okay. So binary links are 6, 7, see again 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ternary links are link number 3 and 5. Quaternary links are link number 2 and link number 4. Okay, got it? Is this clear with the concept? So you can have 1 mark question or 2 mark question in GATE exam as well. That identify the links. Okay. Now the types of the joints. So we have binary joint, ternary joint, and quaternary joint. So what is the meaning of binary joint? So binary joint is when 2 links are joined at the same connection, it will give you binary joint. If 3 links are joined at the same connection, it will give you ternary joint. And if 4 links are joined at the same connection, it will give you quaternary joint. Right? So we will see just one example to find out binary, ternary and quaternary joint. So here you can check link at point A. So this is a joint A. At point A, 3 links are connected. So this is a ternary joint. E, 3 links are connected. This is a ternary joint. At point G, 4 links are connected. So this is a quaternary joint. At point B, 4 links are connected. So this is a quaternary joint. At point C, 3 links are connected. So this is a ternary joint. At point B, 2 links are connected. So this is a binary joint. So these are the binary, ternary and quaternary joint. Okay. So number of binary, number of ternary and number of quaternary joints. But the most important thing in here is equivalent number of binary joints. So this is important because you need equivalent number of binary joints while calculating the degree of freedom. Okay, so what is the equivalent number of binary joints? So if you take joint number C, so at joint number C, there are 3 links connected. So this is a ternary joint. So you have to calculate how many binary joints are there. So while calculating it, you have to keep one link fixed. So keep link number 5 fixed. Fixed in the sense, for the reference I am saying, it is not fixed. So link number 5 and link number 3 will give you one binary joint. Link number 5 and link number 7 will give you a second binary joint. So a ternary joint is equivalent to 2 binary joints. Understood? One ternary joint is equivalent to 2 binary joints. Like if you take a quaternary joint, so take an example of G. G is a quaternary joint. So just take reference of link number 11. So link number 11, link number 9, one binary joint. Link number 11, link number 10, second binary joint. Link number 11, link number 4, third binary joint. So one quaternary joint will give you 3 equivalent binary joints. Is this clear? The concept of binary and equivalent binary joints and equivalent for ternary and quaternary joint. So see, what is equivalent binary joint? So one ternary joint is equivalent to two binary joints, and one quaternary joint is equivalent to three binary joints. So in exam, they can ask you that calculate the equivalent binary joints. So how you will calculate? So first calculate the number of binary, ternary and quaternary joint, and then using this formula, that how many total equivalent binary joints. So binary joint plus 2 into ternary joints plus 3 into quaternary joint, it will give you equivalent binary joint. Understood? So just I have substituted it because ternary joints are 4, quaternary joints are 3. So after calculating this, it will give you total number of equivalent binary joint. So this figure, 15 number, this we will require while calculating degree of freedom. Understood? So this slowly we are moving to the degree of freedom after calculation of links and joints. Is this clear? Okay. So we can go further. Can we go further? Yes. So now see what is a kinematic pair, because this we will require for ultimately our aim is to find out the degree of freedom, because mostly the question will be asked on degree of freedom. So what is a kinematic pair? So kinematic pair is having the relative motion between the, if two links are connecting together and they are having relative motion between them, it is called it as a kinematic pair. So what are the different types of kinematic pairs? So see, according to relative motion between the link, we have turning pair, rolling pair, sliding pair, cylindrical pair, and screw pair. So this is depending upon the rolling motion or relative motion. Then according to relative motion between the link, you can have lower pair and higher pair. Now what is a lower pair? So for lower pair, there is a surface contact. And for higher pair, there is a point or line contact. Okay, so all the turning pairs and sliding pairs and cylindrical pairs and screw pair, they comes under lower pair. They will have a surface contact. Okay, and for higher pair, you can take an example of cam and follower. So cam and follower is a better example for a higher pair. So see, why you need to identify which is the lower pair and higher pair? Because while calculating the degree of freedom, the formula will modify, if you remember. So at that time, first you should be able to recognize whether the pair is lower pair or higher pair. Accordingly, the formula will get modified. Okay, so that we will see when we'll calculate the degree of freedom. Okay, now next type of kinematic pair is according to the mechanical arrangement, that is the self-closed pair and forced closed pair. So what is the self-closed pair? So self-closed pair means all the links of the mechanism are enclosed within. So you cannot separate out the different links. That is the self-closed pair. And for forced closed pair, you need some force to keep the links in contact with each other. So the example of forced closed pair is a cam and follower, where follower is attached with the help of spring. Okay, so third year people will not understand regarding the examples of cam and follower, but the people which are in B, they will understood. We have drawn the cam profile, and at that we have seen the spring loaded cam. Okay, so that is the example of forced closed pair. For third year students, we are going to see it in detail while completing the syllabus of theory of machines 2. So before the GATE examination, it will be clear to you. Okay. Right now, you just concentrate on whatever you have completed in second year. Okay. Now, the next is the important thing for degree of freedom is types of constrained motion. So what is the meaning of constrained motion? So constrained motion is a motion in a specific direction, that is called as a constrained motion. So there are three types of constrained motion. Completely constrained motion, that is the relative motion between the links, which can take place only in a definite direction and it can be predicted easily. So this is the very important word, predicted. Means you should be able to tell what will be the direction of the motion of the link. Means whether the link will slide, or whether the link will reciprocate, or whether the link will turn. So there should be a predictable motion. That is called as a completely constrained motion. It should not be like that sometimes the link will slide, or the link may be reciprocate, or the link may be turn. It should not be like that. The motion must be predicted. Motion must be clear in one direction. That is called as a completely constrained motion. So these kind of completely constrained motion will have how many degree of freedom? Just tell me how many of degree of freedom will they will be having. If the motion is constrained motion, then how many degree of freedom they will be having? Yes, anyone? If the motion is completely, so what is the degree of freedom? Degree of freedom will give you the motion possible in how many directions? Yes, correct, Saurabh. So if degree of freedom equal to 1 means motion possible in one direction. Degree of freedom equal to 2 means motion possible in two directions. Degree of freedom equal to 3 means motion possible in three directions. So for completely constrained motion, there is only one direction motion. So degree of freedom of a completely constrained motion is always equal to 1. You cannot have degree of freedom more than 1 for a completely constrained motion. So if degree of freedom is more than 1, then in that case, that motion is not completely constrained. So that is called as the incompletely constrained motion. Okay, understood. So see, what is the example of completely constrained motion? A motion of circular shaft. So shaft in a circular hole, it will only rotate. So degree of freedom equal to 1 because shaft will have motion in only one direction. Its other degrees are locked. Other motions are locked. So incompletely motion will have motion takes place in more than one direction. So they can have degree of freedom equal to 2, 3, 4, likewise. What will be the maximum degree of freedom? Just let me know. What is the maximum degree of freedom? What will be the number? Maximum degree of freedom can be. Yes, someone please tell me what will be the maximum degree of freedom? What will be the answer for degree of freedom maximum? In how many possible directions a body can move maximum? Yes, I want this answer from your side. See, already I told you, this is all the revision, so you should know it. What will be the maximum degree of freedom? What will be the answer for maximum degrees of freedom? Yes, no one? No one can give the answer of this question? What will be the maximum number of degree of freedom possible? In how many directions the body can rotate or slide? Body can move in x direction, positive x direction, 6, but not sure. Why you are not sure, Saurabh? Okay, Nikhil. So you calculated this 12 by considering positive and negative direction. So actually the answer is 6. Okay. Nikhil, you should not calculate positive direction and negative direction as a different degree of freedom because it's only a one direction motion. For our reference, we take some reference point and we say positive x and negative x, positive y and negative y. Okay. But actually, in degree of freedom, what we say, direction, motion takes place in one definite direction. So when I say body is moving along x direction, so you have to calculate it as a one direction only. No need to consider whether it is moving towards positive x or it is moving towards negative x. Got it, Nikhil? So x direction y direction and z direction. So 3 reciprocating motions and 3 rotary motions, means rotation along x direction, rotation along y direction, and rotation along z direction. So again here also you need not to be considered clockwise and anti-clockwise. Rotation clockwise and rotation anti-clockwise need not to be considered. Got it? So how many number of degree of freedom is there? So total number of degrees of freedom is equal to 6. So if a body will have degree of freedom more than 1, then it is called as an incompletely constrained motion. Got it? So here is, I have given only the example of circular shaft is a completely constrained motion, and instead of that, if it is a rectangular shaft, then in that case rectangular shaft is a completely constrained motion, and circular shaft it will rotate and it will slide both. So it will have 2 degree of freedom. That is the incompletely constrained motion. And third type is successfully constrained motion. So for successfully constrained motion, if incompletely constrained motion, by using some forces, you make it completely constrained. Okay, that you can call it as a successfully constrained motion. So you need to apply some force for that. Okay, you will apply some force to make it successfully constrained. So for the footstep bearing, we used to apply force in axial direction. So that is a successfully constrained motion. So this is the constrained motion which is required in order to find out the degrees of freedom. Now ultimately we have to reach with the degrees of freedom. So this is the important topic, degrees of freedom. Okay. So now, as already I told you, what is the degree of freedom? So degree of freedom will give you the motion in possible direction. So this is the formula of degree of freedom. F equal to 3 into n minus 1 minus 2p1 minus 1p2. Okay, so this is Kutzbach's criteria. So what is this F? So F is the degree of freedom. N is the total number of links in mechanism. So you have to calculate the number of links. So while calculating the number of links, you must give number to the fixed link. Don't forget to give number to the fixed link. Okay, then P1. Now what is this P1? Number of kinematic pair having 1 degree of freedom. So see, this P1 is a kinematic pair having 1 degree of freedom, means this is lower pair. Okay. So whatever the lower pairs are there, that you have to count under P1. So what are the lower pairs? That's why we have seen the classification of pairs. So lower pairs means if there is a turning pair, if there is a sliding pair, if there is a rolling pair, if there is a screw pair, so that all will come under a pair having degree of freedom equal to 1. So you see, why a lower pair will have 1 degree of freedom? So you just take an example of 2 sliding bodies. So if you take 2 sliding bodies, they are sliding over each other. So in how many directions the motion is possible? Only one direction when they are sliding with respect to each other. So just take an example of your hands. Just rub your hands on each other. So your hands are the 2 links forming a sliding pair. When you slide your hands over one over other, when you rub your hands one over the other. So it will give you a sliding pair, right? It will give you a sliding pair. So see now in how many direction you can move your hand. So you can move in a one direction only, either vertical or either horizontal likewise. So sliding pair will have 1 degree of freedom. So likewise turning pair will have 1 degree of freedom. Likewise rolling pair will have 1 degree of freedom. So turning pair, sliding pair all are lower pairs. So by using this formula, you take P1, that is number of kinematic pairs which are lower pairs. And P2 is the number of kinematic pair having 2 degree of freedom, that is higher pair. So if it is a higher pair means point contact, then they can move in more than two directions or one directions. Got it? So that's why you need to be identify whether the pair is lower pair or higher pair. So where to count it under P1 or under P2. Accordingly, you have to substitute over here while finding out the degree of freedom. Is this clear? Is it okay? So, if you get value of f is equal to 0, then it is a structure. If you get f is equal to 1, then it is a mechanism, because it is a necessary condition for the mechanism that degree of freedom must be 1. And if it is less than 1, it is a superstructure. So when it will come less than 1? So if you are applying number of constraints, over constraining it, so in that case, it will give you degree of freedom is -1 or -2 likewise. So many times I give you the example of trusses. In mechanics, you have seen. So if more than the requirement, if you add the members to the truss, then it will becomes over constrained, overloaded truss. So in that case, it will have degree of freedom equal to less than 1. So that is a superstructure. Understood? Is this clear for degree of freedom, and which is to be called structure, mechanism and superstructure? Can we move further? Yes. Now we'll see one example how to find the degree of freedom for the given linkage. Okay. So this is the, again I am taking the same example because already we have calculated the number of links. So it will be easy for us. Okay. So see, this already we have done which are the binary links, which are the ternary links, and which are the quaternary links. Okay. So and total number of links is equal to 11. So now see, kinematic pair with degree of freedom equal to 1 is equal to 50. Now you have to count the kinematic pair. So how to count the kinematic pair? How to count the kinematic pair? So see, you will count kinematic pair 1, 2 as a one pair. Then 2, 11, second pair. 2, 8, 2, 6. 4 झाल्या. 6, 3, fifth झाली. 3, 7, 6 झाली. 3, 4, seventh pair. 4, 8, 8 pair. 4, 9, 9 pair. 4, 10, 10th pair. Then 10, 5, 11. Then 9, 4, 12. Then here 9, 11 and 9, 5. 13, 14. And 5, 1 is a 15. So likewise, you have to count the number of kinematic pairs. So this is a major task in this. Or else, this is by observation. Or else, you can count the joints and you can convert the joints into equivalent number of binary joints. Like here, there is a ternary joint. Just see what is the best method you feel you can go through that. See, here is a one binary joint, so 1. Now here is a binary joint, so second. Here is the binary joints, 2 and 6, so third pair. Now here, this is the ternary joint. Are you getting? Link number 7, link number 8 and link number 2 are connecting over here. So this is a ternary joint. So one ternary joint is equivalent to how many binary joints? One ternary joint is equivalent to how many binary joints? 2. So there you will calculate 2 pairs. ठीक है, म्हणजे इथं 5 झाल्या, 2 झाल्या. Now move over here. This is the binary joint, so one pair only, so 6 झाल्या. Now here is the binary joint, so one pair only, 7 झाल्या. Here is the binary joint, one pair only, 8. Now here is the binary joint for link number 8 and 4, binary joint, so one pair only, 9. Now here 4 and 9 is a binary joint. So 10. Here is a binary joint 10 and 4, 11. 5 and 10 binary joint 12. Now here again this is the ternary joint. So you have to calculate two pairs. So for 9, 11 and 5 you have to calculate two pairs. So likewise you go on calculating the equivalent number of binary joints so that it will give you how many number of degree of freedom with one having pair equal to degree of freedom equal to 1. Is this clear? How to get this value of P1? Is it clear how to get this value of P1? This is very important. Now in this case, P2 is equal to 0. Why P2 is equal to 0 in this case? Why P2 is equal to 0 in this case? Why P2 is equal to 0? Because there is no any pair which have degree of freedom equal to 2 because हे सगळे जे pairs आहेत, all these pairs are lower pairs. There is no any higher pair in this mechanism or in this linkage. So that's why, correct, Prachi. So that's why there is no any higher pair. So if there is a CAM like arrangement, then you have to calculate P2. So here P2 is equal to 0 now. So now this is our formula, F equal to 3 into n minus 1 minus 2 P1 minus 1 P2. So now you have to substitute in this formula. Okay. And then you have to calculate the degree of freedom. So it is giving degree of freedom is equal to 0. Okay. So this is called as a structure. This is called as a structure. Now, which kind of example you expect in GATE exam? So they just give you such kind of linkage and they will say identify this is a structure or superstructure or mechanism. So how you will identify? So in that case, you need to find out the number of degree of freedoms. And then you have to identify whether it's a structure, whether it's a, depending upon the answer of F, you will identify whether it's structure, whether it is a mechanism, or whether it is a superstructure. Is this clear? Okay. Yes, less than 0 is a superstructure. If you got degree of freedom equal to -1, then it will be superstructure. If you got degree of freedom equal to -2, then also it will be superstructure. 0 is a structure. See here. Here, 0 is a structure, 1 is a mechanism, and less than 1 is a superstructure. So less than 1 means actually less than 1 is 0 also, but 0 will consider as a structure. So you can say for this 0, for better understanding, you can say 0 because less than 1 will be the 0, but 0 will be the structure. So this will be less than 0. That will be the better. Okay, so you can take it over here, F less than 0 for superstructure. Okay, so one more example we'll see. So now again you have to find out the degree of freedom for this linkage. So now see, in this case they have not given you the number of links. So by giving the number of links, this is a fixed link. So you need to count it as a link number 1. Don't start counting the link from here. Yes, Virat, we will go for that. The violations of Rydberg's equation. Okay. After calculation of this, we will go for that also. Okay. So now see, you have to go for link number. Go on giving the numbers. Link number 1, link number 2, link number 3, link number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there are total number of links equal to 9. So just within 5 minutes, can you find out the degree of freedom for this? Can you find out the degree of freedom for this within 5 minutes? Yes. See, total number of links is equal to 9. Then the kinematic pairs. Now here I have listed the kinematic pairs. So you can see how to list the kinematic pairs. So link number 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5. Then now here see, this is a slider sliding on a fixed link. So you have to count 5, 1 as a separate pair. Okay, then 3, 6, 6. Again here this link number 6 is fixed. So here 6, 1 you need to count. So just pay attention over here for this 5, 1 and 6, 1. So you may forget this. This slider is sliding on link number 1 which is fixed. So you have to count 5, 1 as a separate pair. You have to count over here 1, 6 as a separate pair. Actually, physically you can see link number 3 and 6 are connected over here. So you can count 3, 4. You can count 3, 4. You will count 4, 5. But you may forget about 5 and 1. You may forget about 6 and 1. Then 6, 7. 7, 8. 8, 9. And 9, 1. Total. Okay. So the kinematic pairs with degree of freedom is equal to 11. P1 is that is equal to 11. So here also no any higher pair. So P2 is equal to 0. So just substitute in the formula. You will get as degree of freedom for this. So just substitute n equal to 9, p1 equal to 11 and solve it. It is giving you f as equal to 2. So this is a mechanism with 2 degrees of freedom. Understood this? Is this clear? Okay. Now see what is the violation of Goodback's criteria as Virat has been asked. So actually what happens, this is the equation. Okay, this is the equation to find out the degree of freedom. Okay, so this equation is known as Grubler's criteria, basically. Its name is not Goodback's criteria. Its name is the Grubler's criteria. So Grubler's criteria considers that there is a higher pair. Means it has a degree of it is used to find out the planar mechanism which are movable and which have the 3 degrees of freedom. So each pair of degree of freedom will give two restraints to the mechanism by reducing the degrees of freedom. And that's why we use this as a P1 and P2 more. Means you can have the degree of freedom equal to P3, P4, P5 go as move on. So that is basically the Grubler's criteria. So here is it is extended means minus 3p3 minus 2p4. Likewise, the formula is extended, but that is not applicable for the mechanisms for planar applications, planar mechanism. So that is a violation of the Goodback's equation. So if you use this equation for non-planar mechanism, so it will not hold good because it will contain a degree of freedom with pairs with 3 degree of freedom, pairs with 4 degrees of freedom, likewise. So in that case, it will not give you the exact degree of freedom. So this Kullback criteria, you can say in other words, it is used for planar mechanisms. So what is the meaning of planar mechanism? So planar mechanism which have only degree of freedom in one direction, means P1 only. This will not hold good if you have P3, P4, P5 likewise. Means if you have kinematic pair having 3 degree of freedom, having 4 degree of freedom, in that case, it will not give you the degree of freedom accurately. Understood? Is this clear? Yes? So what is the conclusion of this today's class, fundamentals of mechanism? What you have to do? You have to carry out the task. Okay. You have to carry out the task like write down the different mechanisms and their applications, different inversions and their applications. So you know 4-bar mechanism, single-sided mechanism and double-sided mechanism. So go on collecting this data which is required for your gate preparation for the mechanisms topic I am saying to you. Okay, then just go through this all concepts of singular binary links, ternary links, singular binary and ternary joins, how to find out the degree of freedom and solve few more examples to calculate the degree of freedom. Okay, I will give you one test after some time, which is only on this topic of degree of freedom to calculate the degree of freedom. Will it be fine? Will you solve a few more examples as a test to find out the degree of freedom? So that will be the practice to calculate the degree of freedom. Okay. So this topic we can consider as this topic has been over. If you are confident about how to find out the degree of freedom, definitely there will be one question to find out the degree of freedom in the exam or related to that. So you can say that 2 marks you have taken into your pocket if you can find out the degree of freedom of any mechanism. Understood? So I will share this PPT as well with you, okay? So that you can again go through this. Then I will give you one test regarding the degree of freedom, how to calculate the degree of freedom. Okay, and so that we can say that this topic of fundamentals of mechanism is over. Is it fine for this topic? For this?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Anyone want to speak anything?
Yes, ma'am. Nikhil here.
Nikhil, yes.
Ma'am, will you please take to the slide which is previous to the thank you slide?
Yes. Last one.
I have a doubt there.
Nikhil, last slide, na? This one?
Yes.
Just wait, na? Yes, Nikhil.
Ma'am, in kinematic pair, we are considering 1 and 5 as a kinematic pair.
1 and 5
then
as a
why not
kinematic pair.
Then why not 5 and 6?
Why not 5 and 6? So see here, link number 5 is a slider, okay? And link number 6 is over here. So whether link number 5 and 6 are in connection with each other?
No.
Are they connected physically?
No.
So in that case, how they will form a kinematic pair? See, pair केव्हा form होते? See, link number 2 and link number 3 एकमेकांना connected आहेत आणि त्यांच्यामध्ये relative motion आहे. तर तिथे पेअर फॉर्म झाली. लक्षात येतं तुला? लिंक नंबर 2 आणि लिंक नंबर 7 ची पेअर घेतली का बघ आपण. लिंक नंबर 2 इथे आणि लिंक नंबर 7 इथे. We have taken the pair of link number 2 and 7?
No, but we have taken a pair of 1 and 9.
What? Please repeat.
We have taken a pair of 9 and 1.
Yes. So why we have taken 9 and 1? बिकॉज 9 काय स्लाइडर आहे 9 बरोबर
Yes.
है ना. तो स्लाइडर इज स्लाइडिंग ऑन दिस surface. So this surface is fixed. So in a mechanism, whatever the fixed surface are there, all they have to count as a link number 1. पूर्ण मेकॅनिझम मध्ये जिथे जिथे फिक्स लिंक आहे, जिथे जिथे फिक्स सरफेस आहे ते सगळे लिंक नंबर 1 आहेत, लक्षात घे. म्हणजे इथे पण बघ लिंक नंबर ही 6 आहे, ही 6 लिंक नंबर आहे आणि इथं फिक्स केली, पिवोट केली, इथं अशी टर्निंग मोशन आहे, तर इथं 1 आणि 6 ची पेअर काउंट केली आपण. लक्षात येते का तुला? इथं 1 आणि 6 ची पेअर काउंट केली आपण. इथं लिंक नंबर 5 स्लाइडर आहे, तो या सरफेस वरती स्लाइड होतोय, तर हा स्लाइडर ज्या सरफेस वरती स्लाइड होतोय तो सरफेस फिक्स आहे. हे कसं कळणार तुला? तर हे जे नोटेशन आहे की नाही, हे असं हॅचिंग केलेलं, हे फिक्सचं नोटेशन आहे. म्हणजे हा स्लाइडर ज्या सरफेस वरती स्लाइड होतोय तो सरफेस फिक्स आहे. म्हणजे स्लाइडर इज हॅव्हिंग सम मोशन विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू फिक्स सरफेस, आणि फिक्स सरफेस म्हणजे लिंक नंबर 1. म्हणून एकदम 1 आणि 5 कायनेमॅटिक पेअर तयार झाली, किंवा 5 आणि 1. सिमिलरली इथे कसं होतंय, स्लाइडर 9 हा फिक्स सरफेस वरती स्लाइड होतोय आणि फिक्स सरफेस म्हणजे 1, म्हणून इथं 9 आणि 1 पेअर घेतली आपण. हा, पण 4 आणि 9 चं काही कनेक्शन आहे का? किंवा 3 आणि 8 चं काही कनेक्शन आहे का? किंवा 2 आणि 6 चं काही कनेक्शन आहे का? Do they have relative motion with respect to each other, physically connected with each other? कायनेमॅटिक पेअर साठी बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट काय आहे? दे शुड बी कनेक्टेड टू इच अदर फिजिकली. मग इथे 1 आणि 9 फिजिकली कनेक्टेड आहेत ना, इथे 1 आणि 5 फिजिकली कनेक्टेड आहेत की नाही, इथे 1 आणि 6 कनेक्टेड आहे की नाही.
Yes.
सो दॅट्स वाय 1 6 1 5 9 1 आपण घेतलंय.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Clear, Nikhil?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's why what I'm saying you is you should be able to count the pairs correctly. जर पेअर काउंट नाही केलं करेक्टली तर हे P1 चा आन्सर चुकणार आहे, लक्षात घ्या. and then your degree of freedom will go wrong. So you should be able to count the pairs. हे जे आहे ना लिस्ट केलेले कायनेमॅटिक पेअर्स, this is very important to count the pairs. Okay? So that's why we will solve some more examples as a test. Okay, and you solve that. So it will be practice to count the number of pairs. Okay, Nikhil, anything else you want to ask?
No, ma'am, no.
Is it clear?
Yes, yes, of course.
Yes. Anyone else want to ask anything related to this? How to count the pair? See, दुसरी गोष्ट काय आहे, इथे मेकॅनिझम आहे अशी तर तुम्ही डायरेक्ट बाय ऑब्झर्वेशन काढू शकता. ठीक आहे, पण इथे आपण अगोदरचा एक एक्झाम्पल सॉल्व्ह केले बघा. Just I'll show you. या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये तुम्हाला डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम काढताना, जस्ट वेट, आय शो यू. या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये तुम्हाला डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम काढताना नंबर ऑफ इक्विव्हॅलेंट बायनरी जॉइंट्स काढायचे. इन दिस एक्झाम्पल नंबर ऑफ इक्विव्हॅलेंट बायनरी जॉइंट्स काढायचे. हिअर इज ऑल्सो बिग टास्क टू कॅल्क्युलेट द P1. ओके, तिथे तुम्हाला नंबर ऑफ इक्विव्हॅलेंट बायनरी जॉइंटचा कन्सेप्ट युजफुल आहे while calculating the number of P1. So just see, this is a ternary joint, so there will be 2 kinematic pair having 1 degree of freedom. If it is a binary joint, count it as a 1. Likewise, go on counting number of kinematic pairs having 1 degree of freedom. That will be your P1 value, and then substitute in formula to get the value of F. Okay. Is it fine? Understood? Is this fine? Yes, everyone? So now what we will do today, for today's class, I only wanted to complete the topic of fundamentals of mechanism. That is only the degree of freedom and all. Huh? So I'll give you a test on this for degree of freedom. Then for our next class, we will go for velocity and acceleration analysis. Okay. Why I am completing the Tom 1 syllabus? Because T students are also attending the class, and for B students also there is a big gap for your second year, whatever we have studied in second year. Okay. So now after this, we will go for velocity and acceleration analysis of mechanisms. Is this fine? Because these two units, means these two topics are important as exam point of view. There will be certainly question on this. Okay. So for our next class, we will focus on velocity and acceleration analysis. Is this fine? Any suggestion from your side? So have you understood this much? So I'll give you a test. Okay. After some time, I will give you the link for the test on the group. Okay. So right now, just give your attendance, and the test link I will send you later on. The test